Hello, everybody. Welcome along. It is the Benjamin Bloom Show. We are in lockdown, so I'm not at any game. So this is how this coverage works. And we are in the pre-game stream for Norwich versus Southampton. Second Premier League game of the week. Did this for Villa and Sheffield United on Wednesday. So if you are tuning in to Norwich and Southampton on the TV, then get your thoughts in here in the comments ahead of the game. We'll give it a little bit of a preview, and then as the ticker at the bottom says, we will be back at half time as and when the whistle goes. We'll be straight on here, so come back if you want some nice ad-free coverage without maybe Roy Keane and Patrice Evra, and we'll be here at full time for a more kind of full review of this game tonight. So it is a big one at the bottom of the Premier League. Let's have a look at the teams and see how we think this is going to pan out. And it seems to conceive wisdom is that Norwich are going to play 4-4-2. Obviously, we have seen them for, well, most of Daniel Farke's reign in a 4-2-3-1, but I am told it's going to be different tonight, and I have no reason to believe that that is not going to be the case. Obviously, Norwich, huge problems at the back there with who's got three of them have gone down, haven't they? Hanley, Zimmerman and Burton all going down. Krillin goal, standard there. It's a decent back four. Tim Closer is back for the first time in ages. The issue for Norwich is no cover now whatsoever. So with a lot of games to play, if you're of a Norwich persuasion, you're going to be hoping that none of those players at the back are going to get any knocks. Now, this is where it's going to remain to be seen what sort of a shape this looks like. Tribal and McLean in central midfield. We'd be used to, maybe Buendia a bit further forward, Cantwell a bit further forward, and number 10, but not expecting that today. We'll see how it lines up, whether that will be a diamond, whether someone sits and someone goes into the 10 position, or whether it is a flat 4. Let's wait and see. This is the issue we've got now with a lot of these teams, whereby they've had a whole pre-season. So unless we've had cameras on the training grounds, we won't know how they're going to line up. A few of my Norwich friends maybe would have wanted a bit more creativity in that central midfield. But can they get it down the sides from Buendia, who's a brilliant player, we all admit, and Cantwell maybe more arriving. Up front, we're not used to Pookie having a partner if we're watching Norwich, so Drummich is going to be, we think, up top in a front two. Remember, Norwich are only, a couple of little tweaks from going back to their normal system, so I'm sure they're going to try this and see how they go. I'm sure the pattern of play will be no different than we've got used to under Daniel Farke. So that's how Norwich are looking. Less of a surprise to see Southampton in a 4-4-2. That is their weapon of choice. McCarthy in goal. Bednarek and Stevens is the standard centre-half partnership. Bertrand left back, Valerie right back. By the way, these are the info goal projections. If you think it's going to be different, let me know in the comments. Ward-Prowse is the new captain in central midfield because Højbjerg, his partner, has said he wants to go and play in the Champions League. So that'll be interesting. Very good player. The Dane. Armstrong down the right. Redmond, ex-Norwich player, down the left. Ings up top. No Shane Long. So Obafemi plays up front for Southampton with Danny Ings, who's their top scorer, but I believe has been fairly light on the goals recently. Let's just have a quick look at the table before we go to the comments, and you let me know how you think this one is going to pan out. Norwich, as they have been for a lot of the season, at the bottom of the league. You can see those last 4 defeats in there, but that win, it was against Leicester, wasn't it, just before the lockdown, has put them in touch. I think most people would take a couple of wins, given that there's still 9 games to go, and class that as still being in touch. there. Southampton up there in 14th, looking a lot more steady than Norwich. They've been up and down this season, although a good run before this recent 4 defeats in 6. Although if you're going to survive in the Premier League and you're going to lose 4 in 6, then having 2 wins in there and still hitting that point per game mark should keep you safe. You think 38 points would keep you well above the relegation zone in terms of points per game. So looking at what a win would do for either team, for Norwich, it would close up Villa not taking the chance of their game in hand, only put a point on the board there, so they're still in the bottom 3. Norwich really need probably 3 or 4 game weekends to go for them in respect of them scoring maybe 2 points per game and others around them losing. They're a long way off, but stranger things have happened. A win for Norwich puts them 2 behind Villa, and maybe puts the pressure on going into the rest of the weekend's fixtures. A win for Southampton would bump them up nicely into 13th and level on points with Everton in 12th if we take that goal difference off. So big game at Norwich. Let's take a look at some of the comments in here. El Loco for Leeds says, Norwich are going down if they do not win this. I think they will go down. Actually, time to swap players with you, NCFC. Big history between Norwich and Leeds there, swapping players. I'm sure we can all name Johnson, Becchio, I'll probably fit Howson, millions of them. Mark, go Norwich from AU. Is that Austria or Australia, Mark? Mike says Norwich need to win this to have a chance. Ashley says Southampton win there. Blaine is saying 5-4 Southampton. Now, I believe there is a famous Premier League game that ended 5-4 between Norwich and Southampton. Let's go to the top here. Blaine. Yeah, Norwich going down. He says, Dan, come on, you yellows. I tell you, football is back. The nerve started 2 hours ago. Should be just happy. Just going through the teams on Sky. That is a strong back four Norwich have got. But the cover, bad. Animation says a Norwich win, 2-1 there. Peaky thinks we'll get a diamond. Let me know who's holding and who's the number 10. I'm sure us connoisseurs of football would love to see Buendia in a 10 position. I know he's been so dangerous, just coming from the outside into the half position. But surely if he can be in a 10 position one-on-one with centre-backs and 2 forwards ahead of him, he could cause absolute havoc. Dan agrees with Peaky. Shocked on the formation. I think it'll be more than a diamond, more like a diamond will finish the last game like that. Animation says Sky have got it as a 4-2-3-1 with Drummich in the 10 position. Sorry if I'm butchering his name. I'm never any good at those pronunciations. That's what you'd expect under Farker. But I know Dan and Ross are big Norwich fans, and Connor, my mate, who does the EDP, the journalist, has got it as a 4-4-2 as well. So let's have a good look at the pitch and see how this is lining up. Dan says McLean in the 10 position. That would be more of a running and arriving 10 with, I suppose, Cantwell and Buendia a bit further back. When you look at Norwich, you're always looking at Buendia and Pukki as the guys who are going to, either create in the first instance or finish off. Maybe Cantwell as well, as a late runner. But let's have a look here. Some more predictions in the chat here. Animation adding a 4-3-1-2 possibly if you have a tight central midfield. Lot of ideas about it being a front two. So how that midfield behind is configured is going to be the point of contention here. Ian says a draw nailed on. Far more helpful to Southampton than Norwich a draw. Will says think it'll be 0-0 or 1-0 Southampton. Harry says Do you know what channel Championship games are on tomorrow? I can't see on the guide. I have no clue. Probably Sky main event or something like that. Sean asked, how is Pookie playing in the Premier League? He's done very well. He scored 11 goals in a team that does create chances, but has been very, very open indeed. Dan says, I don't think that would occur. Drimic in number 10. Pookie more likely to play in 10 as a shadow striker. Difficult one, isn't it? Because Pookie started wide in a 4-2-3-1 for Norwich, or in a 10 position, and as soon as he moved up front, he just scored every week, didn't he? So would be interesting to see him back there. I just think if you've got your premier forward there, it does not bode well, I think, to put him in that number 10 position. Mark says he's in Australia. Enjoy watching from Australia. See you back at half time. Hopefully, Paul says, is it on normal TV? Are we talking the Championship or this one tonight? I can see the players lining up in the tunnel. That looks like Moritz Leitner. In fact, they are now coming out to play. Who do I think will have the best fitness, says Wheelock Young team. In this one, it's going to be a difficult one. So you'd expect Norwich's pattern of play to be superior. Maybe Southampton will have the better fitness. Who knows? Not necessarily an intense team. But Harry asks, Che Adams going to finally perform for Southampton? He obviously is. I assume he's on the bench. I haven't seen the benches there. I don't know if that's a legitimate way to watch it that Acme has posted there. So we'll just put it up, and I will not plug it in any way, shape, or form, given what's happening with the Newcastle takeover there. Right. So the plan today, as ever with these lockdown games and no one in the stadium, I'm here now doing a bit of a preview. A bit of confusion about the Norwich formation. We'll see how that pans out. Most people are going down the draw or Southampton route. So Southampton probably favourites in this one from what I've seen down in the chat here. We will be back at half time. If I flash that up, it'll be around 6:50. So as soon as you hear that whistle go, come back along to YouTube. There'll be a stream advertised very soon. I'll pop that up in the first couple of minutes. Just seeing cones and things getting disinfected. Todd Cantwell seems to have grown his hair out a little bit more. The players once again wearing the Black Lives Matters name on the back of their shirt. That caused a lot of conversation in the chat. Will we see? Well, I suspect we will see the taking of the knee, and it looks like the players are going for the minute silence as well ahead of the game. They're just doing a wide shot here of an empty Carrow Road here. Lockdown football continues with the Premier League with Norwich and Southampton. Thank you very much for watching and getting involved in this pre-match live stream. Tim Closer and James Ward-Prowse. Now looks like Southampton have won the toss. So I'm going to end this stream here. Please join me again around 6:50 as the players go to the minute silence for the halftime analysis. We're back at full time as well. Thank you everybody for watching. Big sign thanking the NHS there in the Norwich stand. We'll flash up one couple more predictions here. Harry says 1-0 Southampton. Mike says 1-0 Norwich. That is the beauty of football fans' opinions. There we go. We get all sorts here. Right. Thank you everybody for watching. Please come back at halftime. Same place. Stream will be advertised very soon. See you at 6:50 when we will know 45 minutes more information on the likelihood of Norwich staying up, Southampton staying up. What's happening with this formation? As a sign goes up saying Norwich City remembers all those affected by COVID-19. Right, I'll see you all at halftime. Thank you for watching. Over and out.